Very pleasant morning to one and all. With due respect and immense pleasure, myself, Dr. Haripriya, Junior Resident of Community and Family Medicine Department, welcome you all to the session on data analysis using SPSS under the initiative of Research Methodology Foundation course by Community and Family Medicine Department of AIMS Patna. It is my privilege to welcome our respected director, Dr. P.K. Singh sir, Dr. Umesh Badani sir, MS, and Head of the Department of Community and Family Medicine, Dr. C.M. Singh sir, Dr. Priya ma'am, Additional Professor of Department of Community and Family Medicine, Dr. Shamshad Ahmed sir, Assistant Professor of Department of Community and Family Medicine, all our senior residents and the participants. We have been planning to conduct this SPSS workshop for quite some time, but the COVID-19 pandemic has made it a challenging task for us. Being a determined group of professionals, we took up the task of conducting it in an online mode, and we are here today. I'm more than thankful to all our delegates and esteemed participants who have stayed with us during this transition process of offline mode to online mode. AIMS Patna, being an institute of national importance, has pioneered many key researchers in the field of medical science. The role of computers and softwares in this process is irreplaceable. And for the next few days, we are going to facilitate the training on the usage of one of the best softwares for this purpose, SPSS. This being our first ever virtual workshop on data analysis using SPSS, our faculties have taken tremendous effort. And the only thing which we request you is to make the best utility out of it. With this, I request our medical superintendent and head of the Department of Community and Family Medicine Department, Dr. C.M. Singh sir, to address the participants. Sir, over to you.
Ready? Okay. Thank you, Dr. Haripriya. Honorable Director, sir, though Dean sir is not there, and faculty members of the institute, senior resident and junior resident, and delegates. I, with immense pleasure, would like to welcome you all the workshop of data analysis using SPSS conducted by our department, that is Department of Community and Family Medicine. As the pandemic is evolving through phases, making it a global emergency, we must mobilize all our available resources to overcome the challenge ahead. The biggest challenge was to train and educate young researchers, which is now possible through the visual platform like this. Research suggests that online learning has been shown to increase retention of information and take less time. Meantime, the changes coronavirus have caused might be here to say. The pandemic has changed education forever. Major world events are often an inflection point for rapid innovation. I am working with terrific creative leaders who really care about the job they do and is extremely dedicated to the college and institute. The team now we have on staff is outstanding, and I can only give thanks to them for their hard work, dedication, service, and loyalty to the nation, institute, and nation. Together, we have accomplished a great deal to make the world a better place. I am not here to brag upon the accomplishment, as the list is too exhaustive. I wish to congratulate each one of you for your kind support, love, tolerance, and encouragement that you selflessly gave each through and through. Last but not the least, allow me to thank everyone who encouraged us in one way or other. To you all, I say thank you so much. Jai Hind. Now over to Dr. Pragya.
Thank you so much, sir. Since our Dean sir has some delay, I request our director sir, Dr. P.K. Singh sir, to please address the participants. Please.
Good morning to everyone who is present online to attend this workshop. So I welcome everybody for the workshop on SPS uses of SPSS, and which is organized by the Department of Community Medicine, Community and Family Medicine. The purpose of this workshop is that we train our young researchers, our postgraduate students to this kind of to impart this kind of skill to these researchers who have an intention and inclination to do some meaningful research in the field of medicine. And at the same time, we have to the department is taking so much of effort to organize this first workshop on SPSS. As we all know that we handle, while we doing the research, we handle a lot of large set of data, which is usually not possible by doing it on a manually. And SPSS is such one kind of a platform. If we understand this fully, I think we can use it for conducting our research and analyzing those data, which some meaningful result which can be derived out of it. So I congratulate the whole department for the valuable effort in conducting this workshop. And at the same time, I also hope that this workshop would be a very interesting one. And I wish all the success to the workshop. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
I think Dean has arrived, so you can.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Now I request our Dean and Head of the Department of Anesthesiology, Dr. Umesh Badani, sir, to address the participants.
Thank you. I must congratulate Department of Community and Family Medicine, Dr. C.M. Singh and his team, Dr. Pragya, Dr. Shamshad, Dr. Sanjay Pandey, and all others who are making the today's day possible of the SPSS workshop. For research, this tool of modern science is very helpful to everybody, and I hope best of luck to all the participants and faculties. Thank you very much for inviting me for the same. Please go ahead with your program. Thank you very much. Over to Pragya. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to invite Dr. Pragya Kumar, currently working as an additional professor in the Department of Community and Family Medicine at AIMS Patna. She is a nodal person for the Research Methodology Foundation course for the PG, for the postgraduate students, and the member of Educational Unit, Institute Research Committee of the Institute. She has 30 national and international publications to her credit. Her areas of interest are medical education, research methodology, epidemiology, and HIV and AIDS. Thank you so much. I invite ma'am to begin the session. before starting the actual session, I would like to give a vote of thanks because that was not formally delivered. So I would like to thank the first and foremost our leader, that is Dr. P.K. Singh, our director. He has got a vision to materialize and to give a channel to every work which we think. So we have got a tremendous support from him, and he is a yes man. Wherever he sees something to be in a positive mode, he is always in a yes manner. So, sir, thank you for being with us all the time in all our ventures. Then I would like to thank our Dean, Dr. Umesh Badani. He is again a great academician and always behind all our work from the front and from the back too. So thank you, sir, for being with us. And then I would like to thank our head of the department and medical superintendent, Dr. C.M. Singh, who is leading so many projects and who is busy with so many other work. Like we can all see that how a person like a medical superintendent be busy in the time of corona. But in spite of that, he is always there to, we can always bank upon him for all our, work, and he's there with us. So thank you, sir, for, supporting us in all our work, giving us encouragement and support in all the arena which we need. And then I would like to thank our senior resident, who is a great team, and our junior resident too, because we have got a huge team of senior resident and junior resident. And I would like to thank the departmental faculty, Dr. Shamshad Ahmed, because he is looking after all that part, conduction part. Then I would like to thank the other faculty like Dr. Alok Ranjan, Dr. Sanjay Pandey, Dr. Santosh Nirala, Dr. Vijay Nayak, who are there as a part of the workshop, maybe when we'll be conducting it as a real one. And last but not the least, I would like to thank all the supporting staff of the department who has taken an initiative to make this workshop a huge success. So thank you so much, sir, for being with us. And then I would like to start with a technical session. So we started with this, and then we had a round of introduction from all participants. So if you see, this is a typical picture of a medical record department of various medical colleges or hospital. So what can we see here? There is a huge stack of files, papers, and data. Actually, it is a huge data. But if you wish to do any study, or if you wish to retrieve the record, what is your opinion on that? Yes. Response from your side. You can unmute yourself and say.
It will be time consuming, madam.
Searching records is the time consuming.
Yes, yes. So thank you to Viraval and Salu. You are very apt in your statement that it is very time consuming. So that's how, if anything is in a digital mode, if it is an electronic medical record, or if it is in a digital mode, then we can do the things very faster. And if you see the Western world, like all the European developed countries and the USA, and all the those countries, they have got a very huge database. So many times what we do here, we tend to collect data and then analyze. But what is practiced there, that they usually, if you read their paper, their usual work is collected in a database, and then they analyze those data. So their main focus is on generating a hypothesis based on actually collected data and then publishing a paper. And what do we do here? Because we don't have that database, so we are struggling. So all that process, because data collection and taking the interview, it takes a lot of time. So in that mode, if we are going to do a research, then our main, a lot of energy goes into the data collection process. So we wish for the future that maybe hopefully at our institute or wherever you are, if the usual data is collected in a digital mode, it is very easy for a researcher to generate a hypothesis, because once you see that data, then that hypothesis strikes. What should be the pattern? Like if you see in the COVID or anything, these days we talk of only COVID, but even if you see the other diseases, if there is a database already in front of us in Excel sheet or in something, then just seeing the pattern also, a lot of things comes to our mind. So now, what is a data?
if you see, if I go back, so this is a population, just for example, I'm just trying to explain what is a data, what is a variable, and what is a population and what is statistics, are very basic terms. I will not go into the detail of the mathematical expression, because we know that as a medico, we are very, apprehensive of all those medical formulas and, mathematical jargon. So we have kept this to a very simplified one for a people who are from medical background, because we too are from medical background. That's why we want to simplify it. So if you see this population, this is an example of all population of myocardial infarction cases. So from that population, we have taken out some sample of MI cases, and then we take the measurement on that single patient. So what is that? That is known as the variable. So why we call this term as a variable? Because it varies from person to person. That's why whatever measurement we are doing, we call it as a variable, like age, gender, race, history of cardiovascular diseases, and serum cholesterol. 45, if we see of gender, then it is a male. White race, presence of cardiovascular disease is yes, and the serum cholesterol is 230. So if we are measuring the variables for everyone in the sample, then this is called the data. And individual data is known as the datum. So you can see if I have taken 10 samples, then it is the datum 1, datum 2, 3, 4, subsequently till 10. And this collection of datum is called the data. And the final value which are obtained from this data is known as the parameters. So the parameter is a term which is for the population. So P stands for P, parameter for population. So if we are going to measure everyone in the population, this is a population parameter, like population parameter for age, gender, race, and serum cholesterol. Is it clear to everyone up till this point? You can stop me anytime in between if you want any concept to be revised, or you can type in the chat box, because we are constantly looking up in the chat box too. If we are measuring, so what we talked here, that was about the population and about the parameter. If we are taking a sample from that population, then there is a set of data, and that is known as the statistics. So here, the term we use is the sample statistics for age, sample statistics for gender, sample statistics for race, and sample statistics for serum cholesterol. Voice is echoing. Is it okay now, the voice? Okay, sorry. So for any measured variable, the sample statistics seldom equals the population parameter. And there is always a discrepancy between two values. That's why it is not possible for us to take all the people in the population, because it is very resource intensive, it will take a lot of time, and it is very difficult to achieve. So whatever data we are collecting, whatever research we are doing, what is our aim? We just want to estimate the population parameter through a sample or through a sample statistics. Putting all that data analysis, we want to estimate the population parameter so that we can generalize the result of our study to the population from where we have taken out that sample. And that's how there will be a discrepancy. So this discrepancy is known as the sampling error. And this depends on the type of sampling done and studied from a different population. So now we have read about what is statistics. So basically, statistics is a way of organizing data, and observation leads to measurement. Like here you can see observation of a person leads to a blood pressure measurement, obesity measurement, measurement of a thyroid gland that is enlarged, and the measurement of a weight of the baby who is a newborn. And measurement, again, it should be sensitive because all our research depends on measurement. That's why we emphasize a lot on the tool which we are going to measure, how sensitive that tool is, how objective that tool is to use that particular parameter or statistics which you are going to tell. So there are various levels of measurement and hierarchy. So you can see here, there are basically 4 scales of measurement. That is you can remember it by the term NOIR, N-O-I-R. N stands for nominal, O stands for ordinal, I stands for interval, and R stands for ratio. So if we go in a hierarchical manner, then nominal is the weakest type of measurement and ratio is the strongest measurement. Now, how these are, that we'll see. So what is a nominal measure? So like example is gender, male and female. Nominal doesn't convey anything about the superiority or inferiority or about the order. And if you change the order, it is not going to make any change in the data interpretation and analysis. Like for case, male and female. If you interchange the code, 2 for a male and 1 for a female, it is not going to change the data analysis. It is only that we'll take 2 as a male and 1 as a female. There are other example of this nominal. And what are that example? There can be, second is what can be the other? Religion. If we classify based on the Hindu, Muslim, Christian, then again it is a type of nominal because it is not suggesting any order in which they are kept. So you can type in the chat box other type of nominal variable. So all of you are requested to type in the chat box. Race, yes, race is socioeconomic status. So Sony, I would like to, yes, anyone who will give his comment on this, diabetic or non-diabetic? Yes, it can be a nominal. Ethnicity, yes, very right, Rohit. This is a nominal variable. Any other example? Color of eyes, any characteristics which we are defining. Color of eyes, color of hair, like you have written race, ethnicity, yes, smoker, non-smoker, Pankaj is writing, yes, Pankaj. Height. So Pramutya, height will be we will see it is not a, nominal variable because height will be a continuous one and it is a type of ratio. Income status, no. There are few variables which you have written here as ordinal. And first I explained that ordinal, yes, Dr. Kamlesh is writing subject ID. This is okay, yes, it is a nominal. Again, we can write here and whatever we are doing in married and unmarried, yes, that is again a nominal. Place of residence, Tanya is writing rural and urban, yes, it is nominal. Okay, so I have left few examples which you will see once you see the ordinal, then you will come to know, yes, Dr. Devendu is writing income status nahi hoga. Yes, he's right. So we will see the second variable and then you will understand that why this socioeconomic status will not be a nominal one. So ordinal is, as the term suggests, there is an order, means that 1, 2 is greater than 1 and 3 is greater than 2 in terms of the outcome which we are measuring. Like if we classify socioeconomic status, then we usually classify it as a lower, middle, higher, or whatever classification we are using, like it is a Kupuswamy or Mahajan and Gupta based on income. So this higher number indicates a higher order. because it is based on the per capita. So there is an order, whether it is a decreasing order or increasing order, then that is known as the ordinal measure. Although we'll see later that both these comes as a categorical variable. Categorical variable means it has got a category. Yes, Rohit is writing rich versus poor. So rich versus poor, if you are writing as only two scales, rich versus poor, it could be a nominal one also, like we have seen presence or absence of cardiovascular disease or any. But if you read higher statistics books, they say that they should also be treated like an ordinal one. Why? Because rich is higher than poor in terms of money. So that's how, but in male and female, it is not like that. The female is, I mean, you leave aside that, gender perception and bias, that female is inferior to male. But in general, if you see the nature, both male and female, there is no superiority or inferiority. The similar thing is with the race. The similar thing with the characteristics like color of eyes and color of hair and color of skin. So all these characteristics, biological characteristics which we define, that has got no order. That means one person is not superior or inferior than the other one. But like in case of, yes, Veeraval is very right, blood group. It is a typical example of a nominal. We cannot say that, AB is better than A or higher or lower than A. But if you see the socioeconomic status or, rich, poor, then definitely it is a ordered variable. Although in SPSS, it does not matter that you write a ordinal or nominal, because both of these variable is a categorical variable and SPSS takes it as a categorical one. Why this is important? Because in SPSS, we will see generally we tend to enter all the variables in a number. But this 1 and 2 doesn't mean, this is just a code which we enter in the SPSS. So like you can see here, there is a pain scale, mild, moderate, and severe. So you can see that definitely the severe pain is more in intensity than the mild and moderate one. So I hope this concept of nominal and ordinal is clear to all of you. Nominal means there is no order. We cannot say that the one group or one variable is superior or inferior to the other. Whereas in case of ordinal one,
एक मिनट मैम मेरी 23 को नाइट है
where in case of the ordinal one, definitely there will be an order, like it will be a rich versus poor, it will be a pain scale, it will be a cancer staging, like stage 1, 2, and 3. Definitely this stage 2 and 3 are severe than the stage 1. Although we'll see later, we can convert these also to a interval and ratio, but I am not telling that now because it is not the appropriate place to tell that. Now, if you see the interval measure, so there are again two scales which is left, interval and ratio. So interval means that the gap between the two time period or two variable will be same across the various category. Like if you can see here, time is an interval measure, 10 to 11 and 8 to 9. Any problem with the voice?
Yes, your voice disappeared in between.
Okay, okay. So where I disappeared? I mean, from where should I start?
Just
can
a
anyone
minute
guide
back.
me?
Just last 1 minute.
Okay, last 1 minute. So I'm sorry, I think there was some unstable internet connection. So I will once again repeat that concept. So you got till nominal and ordinal, right?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'll explain from interval and ratio. So interval and ratio, the difference of interval and ratio is only one, that interval has got no absolute zero. Like time, classically we say there is no zero time, and ratio has got a true zero. Otherwise, both this interval and ratio, they are a type of continuous variable, which we will see. So interval, generally we see time is an interval variable, but all variable for practical purposes, which we measure, that is a ratio measure, because all that biomedical parameter, whether it is age, whether it, again the height cannot be a ratio measure, because there is no zero height. There will always be some height. So it is a interval measure, height, because there is no absolute zero. So similarly, both these scale behave in a similar manner on SPSS, and we take them as a continuous one, and we call both them together as a scale that we will see later. So this is just an example. The nominal is, again, you can see religion, patient status, blood group. Ordinal, you can see the severity, socioeconomic state, that is the low, middle, and upper. Improvement versus no improvement, slight improvement, and remarkable improvement. And interval, like equal difference between level but no zero starting point. And ratio is again age, height, weight. So although height is written here as ratio, but there is no zero height, you cannot take it. So what do we measure here? So we measure variables, and variables, why do we call them as a variable? It is liable to change, capable of being varied or changed, and it varies from person to person. So a person has unaccountable number of variables, but we count only those variables which are needed for our research. So these are the variables, and we can classify variables into a quantitative one and a qualitative one. So how? The quantitative variable is a variable which is related to the numerical data on a numerical scale. So like age, height, weight, you can name a variable and it will be generally a quantitative one. Cholesterol, all the variables which we measure on a biological scale and in individual, except characteristics. Generally, those are the numerical variable. Then numerical variable are of two types. So there is a discrete and there is a continuous. So discrete is when there is no possibility of fraction and there is no gap between the possible value, then it is known as the discrete data. And continuous is there is a no gap, means fraction is possible. And in the discrete, so discrete, I'll give one example. Number of children to a family. This is a type of which data? Discrete or continuous? Please, you can type in the chat box. Discrete. Yes, right. So everyone is right. It is discrete because it cannot be 3.5. Number of students in a class. Which type of data? It is a discrete data or a continuous data. So again, it is a discrete because there is no possibility of a fractional value. So there is a gap between these two because 4 and 5, there is a gap. So fraction values are not possible. But if you see the continuous data, there is a gap like CRP level, hemoglobin level. What type of data it is? Is it a discrete one or a continuous one?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
But how could the number of kids can be? It doesn't have any gap, ना? किसी के 2 बच्चे होंगे, किसी के 3 बच्चे होंगे, किसी को 2.5 बच्चे तो नहीं हो सकते?
यही तो मैं बता रही हूँ. गैप्स बिटवीन पॉसिबल वैल्यू का मतलब है कि गैप है, मतलब 2 होगा या 3 होगा.
3 होगा, हाँ.
तो 2.3 नहीं होगा, इसलिए कह रहा है कि गैप है पॉसिबल वैल्यू. जबकि अगर हीमोग्लोबिन है तो उसमें कोई गैप नहीं होगा. क्यों? 12.1 भी हो सकता है, 12.2 भी हो सकता है, 12.3 भी हो सकता है. तो उसमें गैप नहीं है कंटिन्यूअस में. दैट्स व्हाई इट इज कॉन्टिन्यूअस.
अच्छा,
Did you
okay.
get the concept?
Yes, ma'am.
Concept, the gap only refers to the gap between the data, means fraction. There will be a gap from 2 and 3. 2 and 3 के बीच में कुछ नहीं, gap ही होगा वो. ठीक है?
So, ma'am, no fraction, but gap in discrete and opposite in continuous.
Yes, yes. No gap. I mean, there will be a gap. That's why there will be no fraction. So, जिस तरह से अब उसमें इस तरह का कई बार आता है, आप देखोगे जैसे सपोज ओवरऑल आपने निकाला तो 2.3 चिल्ड्रन आ रहे हैं. सपोज आपने देखा होगा यहाँ का जो फैमिली साइज है बिहार का, वो हमेशा का डेटा देखोगे तो 2.5 पर फैमिली है. ठीक है, क्योंकि वो क्या करते हैं कि ओवरऑल बच्चों को लेके और डिवाइड करते हैं टोटल नंबर ऑफ फैमिली से. लेकिन उसका इंटरप्रिटेशन हम कैसे करते हैं, हम उसको मल्टीप्लाई करते हैं 10 से एंड वी कॉल इट 2, मतलब 25 चिल्ड्रन पर 10 फैमिली. सेम हम करते हैं जब मैटरनल मोर्टेलिटी रेशियो की भी बात करते हैं, तो उसमें भी आपने देखा होगा वो फ्रैक्शन में आता है अगर पर 1000 लाइव बर्थ लें तो. लेकिन मोर्टेलिटी कैन नॉट बी इन फ्रैक्शन. तो कभी कभी जब ओवरऑल हम एक पॉपुलेशन लेवल के डेटा की बात करते हैं तो वो आता है फ्रैक्शन में, क्योंकि वो तो कैलकुलेशन है न्यूमरेटर डिनोमिनेटर का. बट वी ऑलवेज मल्टीप्लाई इट विद अ मल्टीप्लायर टू हैव अ मीनिंगफुल order or to have a meaningful concept.
मैडम ब्लड प्रेशर, ब्लड शुगर ये सारे जो पैरामीटर्स हैं, whether they are discrete or continuous, or it could be both.
आप बताइए.
It looks like discrete data because usually we measure.
अच्छा ठीक है. 12 अगर किसी का ब्लड शुगर ऐसा भी तो आ सकता है 140.5. इट डिपेंड्स ऑन द सेंसिटिविटी ऑफ द इंस्ट्रूमेंट, जो इंस्ट्रूमेंट से आप मेजर कर रहे हैं. तो अब आपके इंस्ट्रूमेंट के मेजरमेंट से वो वेरिएबल इन जनरल चेंज. आप ऐसा लिख सकते हैं जैसे वेट है, आप उसको लिख सकते हैं अपने डेटा में कि आपने फ्रैक्शन को नहीं कंसिडर किया, राइट. बट देन योर कंटिन्यूअस वेरिएबल विल बी नॉट अ वेरी एक्यूरेट वन, क्योंकि 12.5 और 12 इसमें भी देयर कैन बी डिफरेंस इन इंटरप्रिटेशन, राइट. सो दैट्स व्हाई वी से कि जो मेजर करना है दैट शुड बी एक्यूरेट. जिस चीज की पॉसिबिलिटी है मेजरमेंट की, तभी तो एक डिजिटल हम कह रहे हैं ना. अगर जो पहले हमने वेइंग स्केल होता था मैनुअल, उसमें 500 ग्राम्स का था सेंसिटिविटी, मतलब आपका या तो 13.5 आएगा या 13 आएगा या 14 आएगा. सो इट डिपेंड्स ऑन द सेंसिटिविटी ऑफ द टूल which you are going to use to measure. So definitely even blood pressure is a continuous, क्योंकि आप अगर accurate अगर ले, आप accurately कैसे कहते हैं कि भाई arterial blood pressure उसको कैथेटर लगा के लेंगे तो उसमें आपको accurate fraction में आएगा. So it depends आपका जो tool है.
Yeah, so it could be both discrete and continuous depending upon how we are measuring.
Yes, yes, but generally जो कुछ चीजें हैं जैसे मैंने बताया नंबर ऑफ चाइल्ड, लाइव बॉर्न, वो आप कैसे भी मेजर करोगे वो आएगा बाय नेचर ही वो डिस्क्रीट है. इट कैन नॉट बी अ कॉन्टिन्यूअस वन.
थैंक यू.
लाइक number of students in a class, number of faculty at our institute, by nature it is discrete. It cannot, we can never treat it as both. So by nature there are few variables which will be discrete in nature. Yes, for continuous nature of data it depends how you measure it. That's why I said SPSS takes both these discrete and continuous together. वो differentiate नहीं करता, वो हम देखेंगे आगे. वो इन दोनों को क्लब करके एक उसने measurement डाल दिया scale, which is a quantitative variable. It doesn't differentiate between the discrete and continuous. अगर आपने उसमें value point के बाद नहीं डाला, it will treat it as a discrete. अगर आपने उसे point के बाद डाल दिया, it treats it as a continuous. That we will see. अभी जब हम variable enter करेंगे SPSS में, तो हमें ये समझ में आएगा कि इसीलिए जो ये दोनों को differentiate ऐसे बहुत करने की जरूरत as such नहीं है. Theoretically आपको पता होना चाहिए कि discrete क्या है और continuous क्या है. But you are right, it depends on the tool. If you are a tool cannot measure fraction, then that data is behaving in a discrete manner. Any other query from your end?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. So again, the second type of data is a categorical data. So data which characterize a person but doesn't measure anything, any property. Like characteristics we have seen, you have typed in the chat box also, like sex, like socioeconomic status. It is a category. Now again, we don't define category here like nominal and ordinal. Both nominal and ordinal comes in a type of categorical data, because we have given a number to a category, right? Skin color, pain, religion, improvement. It is a type of categorical data. So data can be of two types. It can be a numerical or it can be a categorical. Numerical we say as a quantitative. Categorical we say as
Improvement
a...
को हम वो नहीं लेंगे. Improvement will not be ordinal.
Yes, improvement is ordinal. बिल्कुल सही है.
And it is a qualitative data also.
Yes, that's why if you see here, qualitative को दो पार्ट में डिवाइड किया, ordered and unordered. Unordered हो गया आपका nominal, जैसे blood group है. But ordered जैसे improvement, it is a ordered and we take it as a categorical.
ठीक है मैम. ओके.
ठीक है. अब अगर तुमने पूछ दिया है श्रुति, तो मैं यहाँ पे एक बताऊंगी कि जैसे पेन स्कोर है, विजुअल एनालॉग स्कोर 1 से 10 है, ठीक है. आइडियली है ये ऑर्डर, लेकिन कभी कभी हम अपने एनालिसिस के लिए वी कैन टेक इट एज अ डिस्क्रीट और हम उसको क्वांटिटेटिव में करते हैं. मीन पेन स्कोर परसीव जो किया पेशेंट ने, तो मेनी ऑर्डर्स. तो व्हाट द क्लासिकली जो टेक्स्ट बुक है दैट सेज if you have got more than 7 categories, then you can convert those categories into a discrete one also, and you can analyze the data. That we'll see later, right? जैसे आपने लाइकर्ट स्केल किया है, तो लाइकर्ट स्केल को आप दोनों से कर सकते हो. 1 to 5 है, आइडियली 7 के ऊपर करना है, बट इफ यू कन्वर्ट दैट टू अ डिस्क्रीट स्कोर एंड इफ यू कंपेयर द मीन स्कोर, जैसे हम क्वालिटी ऑफ लाइफ में करते हैं, दैट इज ऑल्सो okay, because you are adding all the scores. So many a times we convert the qualitative data into a quantitative one, and opposite is also true. We convert the quantitative data into the categorical one. Like blood pressure is a type of continuous data, but many a times we convert into the categories of hypertension, like whether it is a pre-hypertensive, it is a hypertensive, it is a severe hypertension, or it is a fatal or any classification which you are using it, right? So that liberty is there with us. Like we can convert a quantitative data into a categorical one depending on our need, and we can convert a categorical data into a quantitative one, but we cannot convert a nominal data into a quantitative one. Ordinal can be a converted, बट नॉमिनल लाइक मेल फीमेल आप नहीं कर सकते हैं कि उसको ऐड करके मीन स्कोर निकाल दीजिए. इट विल कन्वे नो मीनिंग. सो नॉमिनल कैन नॉट बी कन्वर्टेड, बट अगेन
मैडम कैटेगोरिकल को कैसे हम न्यूमेरिकल में करेंगे, इसको एक बार एक्सप्लेन कर दीजिए.
हाँ देखिए, जैसे सपोज हमने लाइकर्ट स्केल निकाला. हाँ, आपने बहुत सारे देखे होंगे ना, आपके पास आता है स्ट्रांगली अग्री, नॉट अग्री एट ऑल, मॉडरेटली अग्री, ऐसे वाले बहुत सारे स्केल्स आते हैं जिसको हम 5 पॉइंट स्केल पे करते हैं. उसमें जो नॉट एट ऑल को 1 देते हैं और बिल्कुल कंप्लीटली अग्री को 5 देते हैं, राइट?
यस यस,
ये ठीक है.
हाँ.
अब इसमें एक ऑर्डर है, क्योंकि नहीं अग्री कर रही हूं मैं और कोई कंप्लीटली अग्री कर रहा है, तो ऑब्वियसली देयर इज एन ऑर्डर ऑफ अग्रीमेंट व्हिच इज इंक्रीजिंग फ्रॉम 1 to 5.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you on the same page? Did you get what I'm talking?
Yes. Okay. Yes. I'm getting. So it is ordinal data.
Yes. लेकिन अगर आपके पास सपोज 50 पार्टिसिपेंट का 5-5 स्कोर है, तो आप जब एक्सप्रेस करते हैं उसको, तो आप आगे देखेंगे फ्रीक्वेंसी टेबल में, आप उसको फ्रीक्वेंसी वाइज भी कर सकते हैं कि इतने परसेंटेज थे जो कि स्ट्रांगली अग्री कर रहे थे. और यू कैन कन्वर्ट दिस इनटू अ क्वांटिटेटिव. आप मीन स्कोर भी निकाल सकते हैं इसका, कि जो मीन स्कोर था, बट उसका रूल जैसे मैंने बताया, जनरली 5 या 7 जब स्केल होता है तब करते हैं. अब जैसे किसी चीज में सपोज अभी है सोशियो इकोनॉमिक स्टेटस में 2 ही है, हाई और लो, या 3 स्केल है, तो 3 स्केल में ना जनरली नहीं करते, क्योंकि हमारे पास गैप बहुत नहीं मिलेगा. जनरली ऐसे आइडियली कहा गया बुक्स में कि 7 से ज्यादा में करना चाहिए. जैसे पेन स्केल, दैट इज कॉल्ड, एकदम क्लासिकल एग्जांपल है, विजुअल एनालॉग, 10 स्कोर है, तो उसमें आप कर सकते हैं. अगर आपका लाइकट पे अगर 5 पॉइंट लाइकट है तो उससे बेटर है आप 7 पॉइंट लाइकट बनाइए, उस पे आप कर सकते हैं। लोग करने के लिए 5 पे भी करते हैं, बट 5 से कम में इट इज हाईली prohibited. You should not do convert the qualitative this categorical to a this continuous one.
So in that case, we can say that the mean pain score is this much.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. I think someone has written English. I'm sorry. So again, I will repeat what I said. I said, like, there was a question from Dr. Kamlesh that in what situation we can convert this categorical to a quantitative one. So I gave an example of a 5-point Likert scale or a 7-point Likert scale, which starts from 1 says not agree at all, and 7 says strongly agree. So you can convert these 7, you can add all the scores of these items of 50 individual, 50 sample size, and you can calculate the mean score of different groups. Like if male and female you are taking across any independent variable, you can calculate the mean score of these Likert scale data. So that way you can convert the qualitative, that is the ordered variable, to a continuous one. But the guideline is this: it should be done for a scale which has got more than 5 or 7 scale. People do it at 5 also, but in the standard textbook, it is written that it should be converted if it has got 7 and more categories of categorical variable. Similarly, a continuous can also be converted into a qualitative one. Like I gave you example of blood pressure. When if you have a blood pressure, then you can convert it based on some categories. Like we will do it now in the exercises, how we convert the continuous variable into a categorical one. So should I move forward? There is one question.
Yes, ma'am. Let's move forward.
Circumstances we should be converting. So when there are many categories, and you want that, in the table, it is not giving a good look or not giving a right interpretation, then we can convert it into a continuous one to give a more meaningful value or more meaningful comprehension. We will see that subsequently. So I am moving ahead if no query up till this point. Should I move forward? I mean, or do you want any concepts to be repeated up till this point?
No, ma'am, move ahead. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So this is again the same measurement scale, qualitative and quantitative. And again, we have seen this, that the qualitative has nominal and ordinal, and quantitative has interval and ratio. So why these categories are so much important? I mean, why there is a need to know about the data? You can just enter it, put the command, and SPSS will give you the table. So that is the beauty, or what we can say, that is the side effect of this these software, that they don't understand. Whatever input you will give, it will give some output. But while you are giving that input or command, it is the time when you need to understand the value of the type of variables, because they behave differently. The qualitative data and the quantitative data, they behave differently. There are various tests which are there for both of these differently, and the statistics and the interpretation, that is also different for qualitative and the quantitative data. That's why it is so important to understand the type of variable, measurement scale, and the type of data. So this is again one example where you can see this is a study on coping and perceived stress among the adolescent. You can see here that the age. So we can age is a continuous variable, but here you can see many times we convert age into the categories. Age like 12 to 14, 14 to 16, 16 to 18. But here I would like to mention one very important point. Never try to collect a continuous data on a categorical one. I have seen many people who already make a category and then collect data. Then it is very difficult for us or for you also to analyze, because you can convert these data interchangeably on software. But once you have taken it, so the inherent nature of data, you should maintain while collecting it. So if a data is continuous, you should never collect it in a categorical manner. Never collected a data on age, socioeconomic status on a categorical one. Take income of that individual. So that because we need that in the analysis also, the continuous variable. Again, gender. You can see it is a nominal, religion is a nominal, class is a ordinal because again 12th is senior than the 8th. Birth order is an ordinal because the last born will be higher in order. Yes, no is a nominal and stress score is a ratio. So these are the type of variables we have seen this. Now a few basic point for this SPSS. So SPSS is a statistical package. The full form is statistical package for social sciences. And IBM is the company who has made and who is the got this license of SPSS, and we have purchased this license. Our institute that we have got a version of 22.0, but I think updated latest is the 27.0. There are two type of files in the SPSS. You can see here this icon. This suggests for SAV file, and this is .spv file, which is the output file. So there are various subscriptions depending on the duration and depending on the package which you opt. So there is a base package, there is a standard package, there is a premium, and there is a Amos. And this is the link site where you can go and choose a software for yourself. But again, there are ways like people they download it, various pirated one, and they are doing it also. But up to you. But yes, individual license is also there, and you can purchase this for yourself, because once we are faculty, and if you write that you have used SPSS and your institute doesn't have that subscription of SPSS and license of SPSS, then many a times that reviewer they ask like from where you have got this analysis done. So you cannot say that you have done it on a pirated one. So that's the disadvantage, because you cannot commit it. So once you arrange something, like you can write a institutional name whenever you write data analysis using this software, then it is fine. So now it's the practice time. So what are we going to learn in this session? So I will be telling you how to directly enter a data in SPSS. Then I'll telling you how to import a data from Excel sheet, how to recode and compute variable, and how to edit and save that as a PDF or doc file. Okay. So now I am showing you the SPSS interface. So while this data sheet is opening, we will discuss a handout has been given to you also regarding the data set, which we will be using for all our demo and practical exercises. So these demo and practical exercises are based on a Worcester heart attack study, which is known as the WHAS study. It is an ongoing population-based investigation by Dr. Robert J. Goldberg of the Department of Cardiology at the University of Massachusetts Medical School, US. The main goal of the study is to describe the factors which are associated with the trends over time in the development and the survival of myocardial infarction of all the metropolitan Worcester hospitals. The main data set was of 8,000 individuals, but we have taken a random sample of 194 subjects from that data set just to have a practical exercise and demo session. And we have incorporated many variables for our analysis, like we have admitted the patient as a baseline myocardial infarction. We have added the clinical some profile, height, weight, blood pressure, that CRP values, which you are seeing that we have added. And then we have assigned all the individual either to one intervention. That is, the intervention is a pamphlet or a interpersonal communication. So these are the two type of intervention. And before and after intervention, there are various parameters which has been taken. And then you have gotten a sheet which will tell you regarding the variable name and description. And just keep ready with those sheets so that while we are doing that analysis, you should be able to understand what are the codes which we have entered and the description, right? So I will show you briefly here the data. So this is the interface of SPSS. So is it clear to everyone? Can everyone see this interface, the SPSS interface? So once you see it, there are two variables. You can see at the base left hand side. There is a data view and there is a variable view. So we are here first. If you convert this, will be a variable view. So first I'll show you the variables, how to enter the variables. And then on the upper ribbon, you can see here there are various options of file, edit, view, data, transform, and analyze. So mostly we use the option of data and transform and analyze. And at times we use just to save and import, we use the option of file. So in the exercise, you all have gotten the exercise sheet with you. Please keep a pen and a copy ready with you because I'm not going to change the screen all the time. So the first demo exercise, that is the enter the variable age and label the variable in SPSS, right? So I'm starting with age. You can write ID also because patient ID is also a type of variable which you will be doing. So I'm starting with age. Pardon?
मैडम कॉपी में लिखना है?
नहीं, अभी कॉपी नहीं में लिखना है. अभी इसके लिए इंस्ट्रक्शंस मैं एक बार बता देती हूँ. पहले आपको सिर्फ देखना है जो मैं कर रही हूँ. कॉपी में लिखना होगा ना जब एक्सरसाइज आपको अब करना होगा, तब के लिए मैं रेडी रखिएगा, जस्ट कुछ आपको नोट करना हो तो. अभी आप सिर्फ देखेंगे जो मैं कर रही हूँ. उसके बाद मैं फिर से उसको रिपीट करूंगी तो आप दोबारा देखेंगे.
ठीक है.
तीसरी बार में हम ब्रेकआउट रूम में जाएंगे. जो हमारे यहाँ टोटल पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं उनको हम 4 ब्रेकआउट रूम में भेजेंगे जो कि स्मॉल ग्रुप होगा. ठीक है. और उसमें जो आपका ये जो प्रैक्टिकल एक्सरसाइज है और जो डेमो है वो आपको ओके सॉरी सो डोंट डू एनीथिंग नाउ. You don't have to do anything. You just have to watch what am I doing. Just see the commands. I will be going very slowly. Once I finish with the demo, I will again summarize all the commands once again. Once I'm done with my command and will tell you about the interpretation, you all will be assigned a breakout room. So in that breakout room, it will be a small group of 5 to 6 people with a facilitator, where the sheet which you have been given, you will practice on those sheets and you will share your individual sheet to the facilitator so that we make sure that you have understood the command. Is it clear to everyone or should I repeat it once again?
Ma'am, just once again, please.
Okay. So thank you. Right now, I am showing you all the commands, how to enter the data in SPSS, how to see the data view, and how to import the data, right? You don't have to do anything now. You just have to see, what am I doing? Don't try putting the commands simultaneously. Otherwise, you may miss out on something. We will give you the recorded lecture of each day, so that even if you forget, you can refer to the lecture and you can remember the command. One thing, we'll give you the this PowerPoint where all the commands will be, the snapshot will be pasted. So don't worry about your forgetfulness, that you will forget these commands later, because you will be ready, you will be having all those material with you for your future reference. So now just focus on understanding now the demo which I am showing. After I do the demonstration on the given data set, then you will be assigned to a breakout room. There are 4 breakout rooms and you will be assigned to each breakout room, and you will practice that individual data set of demo, and again that practice on the demo file and the practice file, exercise file in your breakout room, and you have to run the analysis on your own on that exercise file. So demo file, that facilitator will also repeat the same thing once you are in the breakout room. So all the facilitators, because in the initial introduction session you have seen there are many residents from the department of CFM. So those residents will be the facilitator in each breakout room, and you can ask your individual query also, because it will be a small group, and you have to run the commands on the practice data sheet and share your screen in the breakout room. Is it clear? Should I go with the demonstration?
Clear, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Lakshmi. Thank you, Shruti. So now I was about to start with that variable entry. So you can now see there are in the upper ribbon in that variable view. This is the variable. If it is turned yellow, that means it is on the same page. So it is turned, this variable view is yellow. So I'm on the variable view page. So name, generally, this is a name of the variable. So I have to enter the age. So what I'll do, I'll write age. This is the type of variables. If you click this, there will be various types of variable, numeric, comma, dot, data, dollar. Generally, we use numeric. Or sometimes we can use string also. You can see string here. So if you use string, then whatever material you will type, it will come as a written text. But for SPSS, generally we use this numeric variable type. This shows the width of that numeric type, and this shows the decimal place. So you can, again, what Dr. Kamlesh was saying, if you are measuring your continuous variable on discrete, you can put this as a 0. So I have put this as a 0 because obviously this age I will not going to record 19.5 years. So I will be taking a completed years. So you can write, so all this decimal is 0 here. Then it is the label. Label is
Madam, width क्या है?
Width is basically जो इसका ये जो आपका वेरिएबल है, ये इसका स्ट्रिंग के लिए यूज करते हैं हम width को, और डेसिमल जो है वो हम यूज करते हैं आपके न्यूमेरिक को. तो width जैसे अगर आपने नाम लिखा, अब उसका 8 कैरेक्टर है, सपोज मैंने इसको स्ट्रिंग चेंज कर दिया. चलिए मैंने इसमें ऐसा किया, मैं एक बार दिखा देती हूँ आपको. यहाँ पे मैंने लिखा नेम ऑफ द पेशेंट, राइट, और नेम ऑफ द पेशेंट को मैंने क्या किया, ये स्ट्रिंग कर दिया. ठीक है, अब इसका 8 है. अब जब आप डेटा में जाएंगे और अगर नेम कोई भी आप मान लीजिए नाम बताइए, अब देखिए ये 8 कैरेक्टर से ज्यादा ये लेगा ही नहीं.
ओके.
मैं जितना भी इसमें टाइप करूं ये इसके बाद रुक जाएगा. तो अगर आपको क्या होता है कभी कभी, सॉरी आई एम इन हिंदी, सॉरी, so it will not take more characters than 8. So if you wish to have more characters, then what we can do, you can increase the width of this. You can put 12, 13, 14, because at times we take the open statement. You know, in many at times in our questionnaire, we put a question which is open-ended, like perception, like what is your viewpoint. So in that sense, we should have something which is in a sentence manner, right? So in that case, you can increase the width.
But we generally don't do that in SPSS, ma'am, do we?
No, generally not.
Ideally is not, more often than not, we are focused on the numeric part only.
Yes, you are right. But many times, like people nowadays, they are doing a mixed method study where the perception part is very small, like only 1 or 2 question. And a main part is the data. So for that small question part, they are not going to analyze it with some other software. So in that case, this is an option in SPSS where if you change the variable type to string and increase the width, then initial response, you can take it on SPSS. And then again, what we do, we code them also. Like initial after 20 or 25 response, we try and club all. That's why we do the pilot. We try and club those responses. And when again, then we change it to a numeric set. I mean, numeric type of data.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Is it clear, Dr. Kamlesh?
Yeah. Okay, madam. Thank you.
Okay. So this is regarding the string and the width. And I think this decimal, this is again the data which we enter, that is in the fraction or it is in the this thing, continuous data. Then comes the label. So I was about to show you the age. This is a type of numeric. And because I have, so by default it is 8. So you can leave it like that. I have made it 0. Then I've said it okay. So this is numeric. Width, I've said you that I'll do the 8 by default and decimal 0. So label I will write here. So you write the name of the variable here. So age is a small name. So maybe I can write here age in years. Right. In values, here will be none. This value is applicable for a data which is categorical in nature. For continuous data, generally this is none. I will show you the categorical one. Then this is missing, shows the missing value. This column is the breadth of the column of the data which you will enter. Alignment is the right. Whenever you enter something, it will come on the right side of the column. And this is again important. I said that the type of data which you should be entering here. So age is a which type of data? So you can see there are 3 options here. There is a scale, there is a ordinal, and there is a nominal. Is it clear to all of you? So age is a type of ratio. So we'll convert all these measurement variable which are continuous or discrete into a scale. So SPSS takes both these together, whether it is an interval or it is a ratio. Clear to everyone? And then there is a role. So role is basically the type of variable. So basically there are 2 types of variable which you will see later also. There is something known as the independent variable and there is something known as the dependent variable. So this input is in terms of the independent variable and this target is the dependent variable. But generally what we do in SPSS, we set this to none because it depends on me. While analyzing something, I may change a dependent to an independent one and a dependent to an independent one, because many a times this is not often, like in correlation, there is no independent or dependent variable. Both variables are important, that we'll see. That's why it is recommended that you put this none in the role. So is it clear to all of you, or should I repeat this concept once again? Maybe I'll enter more variable, then it will be clear to you. So the next variable is gender. So I will write gender here. And again, because I'm entering this as a numeric, decimal I may decrease to 0, and I can write here gender of the study subjects. Value again, here I have to put, because gender is a which type of variable? It is a type of categorical variable. So like coding, if I have put 1 for male, so I will add this, and 2 depends. So you have to be ready with your codes which you have set for your data, and 2 is for female. So that you add and then press OK, then this will come. So the importance of value is that, and label. So when you give the command as an output, this won't come as 1 and 2, but it will come as label. So it is easy for you to interpret, because if you don't label a data, then in the output you are not sure what is 1, what is 2, and you most often you have to see and go back to your code book. But here, since you have labeled this, it is easy for you to understand. Again, this I'm not changing from it's an honor lightsaber again. So am I audible to everyone?
Audible now, ma'am.
Okay, just a sec. I'll change my network connection to. Okay, so can you see? So what I will do, what I'll do here, I'll change it to none. Then there is a third variable, that is the height. So I will write height. Again, it is a type of numerical variable. Height, if you wish to put it up to decimal point, you can write that, and it is a height in maybe centimeter, and value it will be none because it has got no categories. It will be right. Height is a continuous scale, and input will be none. So the next variable which I have to enter, that is the weight. So it will be again on the same pattern, weight. It is a type of numeric value depending on the sensitivity of your weighing scale. If you are planning to measure it as a discrete, you just can remove this decimal point and you can write that is weight in kg. And then the values will be none because it is a type of continuous data. The measurement will be scale and input will be none. Then again, the next variable is the socioeconomic status. So I am writing SES. SES, why I'm writing? Because that will be a very long variable, that socioeconomic status. So what I'll do that, I can put this to 0 because it will have a scale, and I will write here as the socio-economic status. And then you can write, then I have to put a value for it. So what I'll do, I'll put 1 for lower, and then I'll put it as, do it as 1, 2 as middle, 3 as high, and then I'll add this, and don't forget to press this OK. So it is done. Now, if any variable has no or yes, like if there is a CVD, and you have to write like presence or absence. So 0 will be, there many a times all that absent condition will be 0. So you can add it, and 1 will be present. In that case, you can copy and paste this. So if I wish to add any other variable like myocardial infarction, I'm not writing the label right now because it will take time. Then what I'll do here, instead of entering 1 and 0 again, I can copy this and I can paste the same here. So so you can see here that it has appeared, this 0 and 1. So in this values, if your coding is same for few of the variables, you can just copy and paste these variable in the value. And again, what I'll do, I'll change this to the ordinal, I change this to the nominal, and I change this to the nominal, right? Input, I change all the 3 to none, none, none. Is it clear to all of you up till this point?
Clear, ma'am.
Any query from any participant, any concept you want me to repeat once again? I may repeat it now. You can either type in the chat box or you can unmute yourself and say whatever you think is feasible and convenient for you.
Ma'am, this role was not there in the earlier version. Why they have added in this new version?
Yes, they have added this just as a form of the explanatory and that criterion variable, that dependent and independent one. Maybe with the later the more advanced type of analysis, we can fix these rules. But for practical purposes, even if you put this to none, it works.
Can you please give us some other examples where you won't put none?
None, generally all variables we put none. Like I said, if you want, I will show you later in the examples also where we have to do the chi-square analysis, where we have to put one as a dependent and the other as an independent. Like if I want to see the association between gender and cardiovascular disease, whether the male, like COVID. So whether COVID is more in women or less in men, presence or absence of COVID. So here the gender will be a independent variable and the presence or absence of COVID will be a dependent one. So in that case, if you are very sure, you can put here as role. Like here, if I put COVID instead of CVD, I put COVID. Right. And then I can, in this role, I'm very sure that I'm going to use this COVID always as an outcome variable. So I may put it as a target, and I may put this as a gender as a input variable, right? But this output doesn't change. If you see the commands now, generally it doesn't change. But again, for all practical purposes, when you are selecting that variable, it becomes easy for you to identify which is the dependent and which is the independent variable. That's the advantage. And one more advantage, if you have analyzed and entered the data, and if you are giving it to some other statistician who is not well versed with the role, because a statistician will not know what is your dependent and what is your independent variable. So if you put a role and if you give this sheet, then if both of you are working on the same sheet, then also it is easy for the other person to understand which is your independent and which is your dependent variable, right? Is it clear to you, Sunita?
Okay, yes,
मैम एक बार फिर से समझाएंगे थोड़ा सा इनपुट और टारगेट का
इनपुट और टारगेट का ठीक है, मैं समझा देती हूँ. इसमें क्या है, व्हाट इज देयर इन इनपुट एंड टारगेट जनरली इन एनी आउटपुट. I mean, you will see it subsequently, like if you are putting logistic regression, if you are doing linear regression, if you are doing chi-square, you have to define which is your dependent variable and which is your independent variable. Is it okay, Dr. Divendu? So generally all these age, gender, these categorical one, the inherent character of an individual or a patient, that is a type of independent variable. And you have to see the outcome variable. Like I have given you the example, the COVID. It is said that the COVID is less in women as compared to men. Maybe there are various reasons for that, but I just want to see the association between the presence or absence of COVID and gender. Then what I'll do, I'll put the gender as an input variable, because I'll put the gender as a independent variable, that is the input variable. And target variable is my COVID, because presence or absence of COVID, I have to see the target variable. So that's how, if I define it, then it is easy for the other person to understand. But even if you don't do it, and if you do it in the command that we will see, then also it is not going to change your analysis or your interpretation. Is it okay, Dr. Divendu? So now we'll move to the import part. So this you have seen. And now if you see the data view, you may enter the data here, like 12 year, gender is again 1, height is 130 centimeter, weight is 54 kg, socioeconomic status is 3, COVID is 1 or 2, MI is 0 or 1, something like that. And this will populate the data which you enter. Okay. Now, many times what we do, we enter the data in Excel sheet, and you have to import that Excel sheet to the SPSS, because the Google form which you design to collect the data, that also gives the output, I mean, this database as an Excel. So for analysis, you have to import that Excel data to SPSS. Now, how to do that? So I'll show you one data which we are going to import. So for import, what you have to do, press on this file. Can you see this file? Then there is an option of open, and then there is the option of data. Okay. So file, open, data. Then it will lead to ask you to connect to a pathway. So because all that data that is there in the desktop, you can see there is an online workshop SPSS. So I have opened this file. So you can see it is a day wise. So I will open this day 1, and day 1, I have to go back. It is day 1. So you can see here the file type. It is I have to select a file type first because this file is in the first this thing. So I have, but here it is the SPSS statistics. So what I'll do, I'll change this to Excel. Otherwise it will not show. So this is again SPSS is showing. So I have changed this to Excel, right? And now Excel, you can see there is an import demo and there is an import exercise. So you will be importing this exercise. For demo, I'll show you this import demo. So I have opened this and then wait for a few minutes. You can see here, you have to check this box, read variable name from the first row of data. That means the variable which you have written in your Excel sheet, SPSS will take variable from the same row. So you have to check this, read variable from the first row of data. This is the data sheet. There will be various, if your Excel has 2 or 3 data sheet, you can select from this drop down menu. But since I have only one data sheet in the Excel, so it is showing only one, and then I press this OK. So then you can see this is imported. Now, can anyone point out what can you see here? And do you wish to change anything in this data? In data view? You can type in the chat box. Do you see the weight? It is 18.8333. I don't know till how many decimal points. So what I'll do, maybe by mistake somebody has entered or it has taken. So I'll change this decimal to maybe 1. So I have changed this to 1. So if you go to the data view, you can see here the weight is changed to 1. So all the variables are up till 1 decimal point. Okay, and if you can see the variable view, but here if you import data, you have to put the label here. Again, how you are going to do that? You have to write gender, weight, height, something like that. And then values, again, if it is a categorical one, you have to put like gender, again, you have to put male and female because it is not a labeled one. Weight, again, continuous, and that is okay. So you have to change this to the various type. Obviously, this nominal weight, and it has automatically taken it. Right. So now I'll show you how to. So this you have seen. Data view, you can see here age, gender, weight, and height. Now I'll show you how to code and recode and compute a variable. So I've told you initially, try taking a data which is in that particular nature. So don't ever try to take a data in the form of BMI, because BMI you can always calculate in the SPSS or in Excel. So don't calculate BMI on that sheet in your individual data sheet. You can put any formula both in SPSS and Excel. So now if I want to change this data to BMI, what I'll do, I'll go to transform. Just see this option first. I'll go to compute. I click this. there is a name as target variable. So I have to do a BMI. So I have put BMI here. Now for BMI, I have to put some expression here, some formula. So what I'll do, I'll enter weight. So weight is there and then divided by. So divided by, but again, I have to put here in a bracket form because I have to put a square and that too height in meter. So what I'll do, I'll enter this height and I'll multiply this with 0.01. Right. But I have to put this in bracket. And then again, I have to put the sign of multiply. I will copy and paste this because height, I have taken it in centimeter. And I have to put that in meter. So again, I have this star sign shows multiplication. The star sign shows multiplication. And this again, I have put a bracket outside the whole thing so that it takes this whole command as one. And then I click on this OK. Then you can see your data sheet. And then you can see it has calculated the BMI. Can everyone see this? So, is it clear to everyone?
Yes, madam. How did you get that compute engine, madam?
Yes, you have to go to transform and then you have to press this compute and then it will becomes a target variable. So transform, compute, right? So after this, now we need to recode this. So recoding is done, recoding has its own value. So what we see here, that you have got this BMI. Now I want to make a BMI category, right? So you have to write, on a hard copy also that category. Like I want to know about, I am putting category less than 18.5 as underweight, right? And 18.5 to 22.9 as normal. So what I'll do, again, I will use an option of transform. And we have initially used this compute, but now I will use this option of recode. Now recode has got two options. Recode into same variables and recode into different variables. If you recode into same variable, this actual value of BMI, which you are seeing here, it will be converted into code. But I don't want my continuous data to get lost. So what I will be doing, I'll be recoding it into a different variable. Means it will have another variable. So my input variable is a BMI and my output variable. So this pop-up window will appear and output variable will be the BMI cat. Right. And if you press this change, this will change. And this output variable label is the name of the variable. Like I can write here, category of BMI. Right. And then I will press on this old and new value. So what I did, I have pressed this option transform. I have opened this option of recode into different variable. Then this pop-up window appeared. I want to change this BMI to BMI category. So the name of the output variable, I'll type here. I may label it so that it is clear to everyone that what this variable is. And then I have pressed change. This will appear here. Then I press this icon of old and new value. So if I press this, a window of something of this sort will appear. So here you can see there are two parts. This whole left part deals with the old value and this whole right part deals with the new value. Can you see here the old value and the new value? Is it clear to everyone up till this point?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I am just increasing the size of this so that just a second. So the new value, old value. So old value mein what I'll do? Less than. So my first category is less than 18.5. So you can see there are three options: range lowest through, range value through highest. So these three has got different meaning, and we'll use all the three options here. So I have to put less than 18.5 as category 1, which is the underweight. So what I'll do, I'll put here lowest through value. Lowest through means whatever I type here, that will take that value also. So less than 18.5, that means I will press here 18.4, right? If I'm taking it up till 1 decimal point. Lowest through means it will include all the values which are lowest, including 18.4, right? And then the new code which I'm giving is 1. And then I have pressed this 1, right? Then the next category is 18.5 to 22.9. So I'll use this term range. So range will, what I'll do, 18.5 through means that will include this value. So 22.9. So this is a second, that is the normal. So I will press 2 here, then again. Or if I think, no, I am using this as a Asian cutoff. But no, I don't want to use this as a Asian cutoff. I want to change this. So what I'll do, I will press this to 24.9, because up till 25, it is the overweight. Sorry, normal. So I will change this, right? So it has changed this. Then again, what I'll do, 25 to 29.9. Right. And then I'll put this as a 3. This is overweight. I'll add this. And then again, I want all the people with more than 30 to be as a obese. So I'll take this option of high value through highest. And I'll get this as a code of 4. I have pressed this add, and I have continue this. Continue, and then press OK. So if you see your data, this new variable like 1, 2, 3, you can check also, like 26 is 3, which you have categorized as what? 3 is the overweight. 39 is the 4, that is the obese. So you can see that you have created a category of BMI cat from a continuous variable. So I told you in the first session only, we can convert a continuous variable to a categorical one. Is it clear to all of you? How we converted a continuous variable into a categorical variable. And this we do for many variables, especially in logistic regression. Logistic regression, we often convert a continuous variable to a categorical one. That we will see in the session of logistic regression. So is it, this is clear to everyone up till this point? Or do you want me, or I will again repeat the command. To change a variable, to import a data, we press on file, we press on open, and then data. In data, what we do most often mistake that we don't change the name of this file type. So always change the name of this file type to Excel, then this Excel will be seen to you. This import you can import this import exercise, and then a new sheet will be opened. So I am cancelling it for now. To compute a variable, you have to go transform and compute. You can compute here. I have computed BMI. You will compute another variable, that is the average SBP, mean systolic blood pressure, that you can do. And again, to recode the variable into some other variable, different variable, I have used this option or the command of BMI to BMI cat. This is the input variable, and this is the output variable. So the output variable, you have to put a name, whatever you write here, like if I put weight, and if you have to write underweight, then again, name of the output variable, and if you put the label, then it will change, press this change. Then there is an old and new value. This whole left panel deals with the old value, with the range. Range has got 3 options: range through lowest value, range through highest value. Through means it will include that particular number, and then the new value is the category which you are assigning it to that particular continuous variable. Then press on this continue, and then press on this OK, and then it will change, and again you can see the BMI cat. Is it clear to all of you up till this point?
Yes, ma'am. This
Any
data
concept?
import.
Yes.
Data import is the file. Open.
Data import option file.
Yes, data. When you press this file, then there is an option of open. Then go to data. Then in the data, wherever this pathway is, please change this file type to Excel. Then only this Excel will be visible. You will be doing it now. So if
does it have
can you
delimited CSV file, madam?
Can you type your question?
Yes, I am not seeing separated tablet.
See, you are talking. I think, can you type the question in the chat box, because I'm not able to comprehend. There is some break in between. The file has been sent to you on mail. So you save all those files to your desktop, and in the breakout room, you can practice on the same file. So if there are no questions up till this point, then or any query.
It is
a comma delimited or tab delimited file. So comma separated, that CSV file, it is not given, right? We have given you the Excel file. So now if there are no questions, then we are going to move to the breakout room. In the breakout room, the facility on the demo sheet, you will be asked to show the commands, and then on the practice sheet, you will be doing all these exercises which has been given to you for the exercise, right? You can just see the shape of these variables like flower, and this flower with 3 petals, it shows that it is a categorical variable. So I'll just move. So you can select by pressing Control, select each of these categorical variable and move it to this pop-up window of variable. Now there are few options which you can see here. So I'll click on this option. This statistics we will use most commonly. So I have pressed on the statistics. So here, since it is a categorical variable, will not use these options. So these quartiles, standard deviation, mean, median, this is for a continuous data. For a categorical data, we can only have the frequencies. So I am not clicking any options. Then I said that chart, we generally don't use this SPSS option. So you can see there is an option of display frequency table. So if I click this OK, I will only click this OK, and you can see that all these frequency table of individual variable will appear. How many male, female, how many white, black, and others, the socioeconomic status, then the frequency of this presence or absence of cardiovascular disease. And then you can see the order of MI, the first order of MI, 68.9% were from the first order MI. And then the non-Q MI was 66.8%. Okay, so this is the percentage. Now you can see a term known as the valid percent. Now, what is this valid percent? If there are missing values in your data, then this takes that missing value, this removes it as a denominator, and it gives you the valid percentage. So I can show you, I may delete one data. So what can I do? I will delete this row. Like in case of categories. So in case of categories, if I remove one gender here, then if I again go back to the, so remember that we have removed one values in the gender. If you go to descriptive, frequencies, and then okay, then you can see here that in gender, that female, that once we delete, one which we deleted, she was a female. So that valid percentage is 40.1, right? So we'll take the valid percentage if there are missing data, right? So that's why this concept of valid percentage is needed. Do you get this concept? Now we have to enter this data into a table. So now how to enter this data into a table? So this is basically the table of descriptive statistics. So in the table, you can see I have written the gender-wise distribution. So this is a male, the count of male and female in my output. This is a percentage. So interpretation, I'll write that 60% of the participants were male, and the other we don't write because it is obvious. Then again, I think these are all tables of descriptive. Yes, this is the, again, you can see the status of various cardiovascular profile, cardiovascular disease status, myocardial infarction type, and myocardial infarction order. So you can see here that the count is there in one column and the percentage is there in the other column. And we can write here that the above table depicting cardiac profile of patients, 64% of the patients had a previous history, this one, of a cardiovascular disease, and 2/3 had a non-Q wave, and 1/3 suffered from the recurrent MI. So this is one way of presentation. Depending on your wish and your need, you can present this tabular data. So that's how we enter these data into the dummy table from the output of SPSS. And it's preferable to save that output once you are done with the analysis so that you can enter these values in the respective tables. So these dummy tables should be prepared beforehand. Once you start your data collection nowadays, at many IRC and many institutes, we are seeing this practice of submitting the dummy tables. So they submit the dummy tables while they submit their protocol. So by that, you are initially, you know what you want to show. So then your data analysis and your compilation, it goes side by side. So this is about the frequency. Now this was regarding a categorical variable. Now coming to the continuous variable, if there are many continuous variables here, like age, there is a weight, height, and BMI. So these are the continuous variable. For that, what I need, so I will go to the analyze, descriptive, and frequency. For descriptive, remember frequency. So what I will do, either I can select all these and move this back. So either I can do like this, or I will reset this. So after resetting, it will all become vacant. So again, what I'll do, and you buy this strip and flower, it will be easy for you to recognize the type of variable. So this strip means scale. It is a icon of scale, which is showing that the height, weight, and so this is the all our scale variable, that means continuous variable. Here we will use the statistics, but you have to uncheck this display frequency table, because if you don't uncheck this, I'll show you how this appears. So I forgot to uncheck this, right? And I have clicked on the statistics. If I want some percentile value, I can click this. If I want a specific percentile, I may add like if I want 5th percentile and 95th percentile. So I may write here and add this. And I want mean, I want median, I want mode, and maybe I want standard deviation. I want range and the variance also. So I may continue this, and I have not unchecked this. I forgot to uncheck this. So if I press on OK, you may see how this frequency tables. So it will take all age, like 35, 1, 36, a huge table, which is not needed for us, this individual age. So before putting that OK, you should uncheck this. Otherwise, these huge table will appear, which has got no value to us, right? So what I'll do, again, I'll go on the analyze and I will go to frequency and I'll uncheck this. And now you see I have checked all these options. I'll press OK, and now this output is OK. You can see it gives you the output of age, weight, height, and BMI. You can see here that the mean of these values are ranging from 70, 72, and this much. Median is this, mode is this, standard deviation, variance, and then you can see the percentile. So I clicked on the 5th percentile, 25th percentile, and the 95th also. So it is given us the quartile, and again the 5th and 95th percentile. So that you can enter this data into a tabular format, and that is the descriptive. So you can see we can change this to the table. So where the mean, age, standard deviation, and the range is like this. You can enter all these variables in one table also. Like mean age of the patient was 70 years with a standard deviation of 14.6, and you can quote about the minimum and maximum age. Similarly, you can put all these continuous variable descriptive if the title suggests, like I can club it in one anthropometric parameter. So I have written like mean, SD, minimum, and maximum. An interpretation will be like the table showed the descriptive statistics of various anthropometric parameters. The mean height was 164 centimeter with a standard deviation of 14.9. Similarly, the weight was 72.1, and in bracket, we tend to give the standard deviation and the BMI. So this was the descriptive statistics of all the continuous variable. Any ambiguity till this point? I will again rerun all these commands. So what I did, this is a data sheet. You can see here, it has got two type of variables. It has got a continuous variable. It has got a nominal variable. So for nominal variable, we use the frequency table. In the option, we will use this option of transform, analyze. And then we will use this descriptive in the frequency. In the frequency, you can see that if I am using this, so I will put this reset. I will this categorical variable. I will select all these together by pressing the control button and clicking on this. And then I have shift this here. Here, I only want this frequency table. So I have pressed this OK and it will appear. Again, I will move these two back to the table. This window, again, I'll come with these three. That is the continuous variable. It has gone here. But again, I will uncheck this display frequency table because otherwise you have seen that individual age, it gives you the frequency of all age and BMI. Again, this percentile we use depending on our need. You can use quartile or you can give the specific percentile which you wish to have. Then you can click on this mean, median, and mode. You can click on standard deviation, minimum, maximum, and variance. Then press this continue and press the command, and there will be output. Then you can enter this in the result. So the result will be you can make a table. So you can make a separate table for the other socio-demographic like age, And if there are others, or then again the other parameters, you can enter it together in one table. This is the APA style table, which is the American Psychological Association. Generally in all thesis and research articles, we follow such pattern of table. So this is the category where mean, weight, height and BMI is shown with the standard deviation and range. And then you can write the interpretation. So if any concept you want to be repeated or to be told, then I can tell that. Otherwise, we'll go to the breakout room where you will be doing this on a demo sheet and then on a exercise sheet. Okay, so we are moving to the breakout room. Okay, any query?
Ma'am, for categorical.
Yes, Dr.
We cannot,
Tanya, we will provide you the all the recorded session. No
we cannot
worries.
mix
No worries. That
both
we'll give you.
continuous and categorical data
So we are
together.
moving to the breakout room. Oh, Veeraval, are you asking some question? I cannot see the chat box.
Yes, ma'am. Veeravel sir was asking
I'm not
some query.
We cannot mix both categorical and
No,
continuous.
my speaker is okay. एक minute, microphone. No, speaker is same as system, so I have to put Yeti. JBL.
Ma'am, we cannot mix both categorical and continuous together.
Yes, Veeraval.
Ma'am, we cannot mix both categorical and continuous data together. We have to do separately. Like categorical, you said analyze, description, frequency.
Yes,
And,
yes. Otherwise, yes, because it will give you the command, but it will be very erratic and it will be difficult. The output will be very long and it will not be in a structured manner. So it's better you should analyze categorical variable only as a frequency table and the continuous one as mean, median, mode, percentile separately.
Okay.
It's
Thank
better.
you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Any other question? If not, then we are moving to the breakout room.